things, Road to Junior Worlds 2024, Malta. I'm Bobby Tan from Performotion, and joining us today, we have Layla Soto from the US. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. It's night over there, right?
It's around 8 p.m. right now.
Yeah, it's 9 here a.m. So, did you train earlier?
I did. I trained like 2 hours ago.
And how was it?
That was my bench day. It was actually pretty good. First bench day in a while, like no pain. So I know Steven's probably going to be like, what the hell is wrong with you
It's
today?
great.
Like, why are you on? So yeah.
So, how many weeks out are we?
3 weeks tomorrow.
Yeah. For me, it's today. So, you'll be competing 3 Saturdays from now, and like, how's training been, and like, how's everything been?
Um, so we just had my week 4 squat and bench and deadlift like last week. And squat, we had a 2.5 kilo PR, so 230 kilos. Um, Honestly, I was not having a good squat day. I know I was like freaking out during the whole squat session, and we ended up with a PR, so I'm okay with that. Bench, I'm not really too happy with. I definitely didn't touch any numbers that I know like I hit in the past, and I have to take into account bench depth and just injuries. And deadlift, we touched some heavy numbers that I've never touched in prep. So that's a pretty good sign because I know like whatever I take in prep, I usually get like 10 kilos on the platform. So that's exciting for me.
Yeah, and the fact that you are still touching your numbers for bench, like when there's depth to be accounted for, I think that's also pretty impressive as well.
It's really hard. Like I won't lie. I know I like text Steven all the time and I'm just like I don't think I'm hitting depth. Like please help. Like what am I gonna do? I can't hit depth. And he's like, it looks like depth to me. And I'm like, okay. So I just I just like go with whatever he says. I'm like, all right, if he says it's depth, it's depth. But then some
Yeah,
days like he's like, it looks a little high. And I'm like, see, I told you. I told you. But yeah. So
and like, have you guys done anything to like sort of improve or like resolve that issue?
so he's definitely given me a few cues to help with bench dip. And I've kind of like just tweaked it and made it my own. Like I know I put a belt back on just to like learn the sync because I started sinking and I hate sinking so much. Like it's just terrible. But I don't know how people do it at all because it's horrible for me. So I started to sink, and then one of the cues he gave me was to think about like touching my elbows to the back of my ears almost. And for some reason, that cue seems to work with me really well. And so it's been going pretty good now that I feel like I finally understand it a little bit more, especially like going into this week. I was like, oh my God, something clicked finally. So it's good.
It's good. So you were this year's national champion, junior national champion, and I guess moving back into 2023, you also had a few close fights there. So tell us a bit more about your competition history last year when you had
Uh,
collegiate and Ronettes.
so I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember much of collegiate nationals. This 2023. I think I went in injured with a like hip injury, and definitely I was not happy with that performance going in. There was really no competition on that meet. Like that was just kind of we knew we're gonna go in, hit numbers, and we'd be okay. It's like take the win. Raw Nationals 2023. This one like eats me alive like every day. Um, so I completely changed my squat after this meet. I misstepped on my second squat, and my squat felt really on that day. And so I retook my second attempt for my third, right? And I got it right, but it was hard. Like I won't lie. And like ever since that day, I like freak out about depth because like going into Raw Nats 23, I was like, oh, I'm hitting depth, I'm fine, and nobody told me anything otherwise. And that one squat cost me Raw Nationals. Like if you look at the totals of that like breakdown, um, I totaled 555 and a half, and the girl who won totaled 556. And it was just like, I never want to be in that position again. Like I don't want to ever miss a squat on deck and have that make me lose the meet, right? Because everything else was on. My deadlift was on. We hit a PR on deadlift. We hit a PR on bench. Like we were on, and that one thing just messed me up. And it, like, I still think about it now because I'm like so mad at myself because like that just shouldn't have happened. Like I should have been training to better standards. And so that one thing, I'm always like, you better hit depth on squat because if we go through that again, like I'm gonna lose it. Yeah, I really changed like my whole squat stance. I got into heels like just recently, and I really love it. But yeah, I always text Steven. I'm like, "Is this depth? Can you tell me if this is depth?" And and he's like, "It's fine, Layla." And I feel so bad because I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm probably annoying him." But yeah, so
It's just
that
like
was
anxiety, like, right?
I have really bad anxiety when it comes to like squat depth and bench depth. Um, yeah, it's so bad for me. And I know like I record from the side and you can tell I'm hitting depth. And in my head, I'm like, but is that IPF depth? Like, is it? I don't know. And then like my friends are like, you literally did a PA meet and you got all white lights on depth. Like, why are you freaking out? And I'm like, I've never been on a world stage. Like, I don't know what could happen. Like, so yeah, I freak out a lot. But yeah, that was what else did I do in 23? I think those were the only two meets I did was CNATs and raw nats. And then this year I've done no, maybe I did another one. I did the game day meet as a qualifier, and we
Yeah.
literally just did my squat day as like the meet, whatever. I went in the back and I literally was doing back downs in the back, and everyone was like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I got to do
I'm
back
training.
downs. This is my training day." And they all looked at me like I was insane, and I was like, "Sorry, guys. Yeah, my coach wants me to do back downs back here, so that's what I'm doing." And I know people from the gym today, they're still like, "I remember that meet. You were doing back downs in the middle of the meet," and I was like, "I know.
Is that what
Don't
you're known
remind
for
me."
now? Back
I
down,
guess
Layla?
so. I would hope nobody thinks of me like that. They're like,
Are you
yeah,
gonna
this
do back downs
crazy's.
in the warm-up room
Should I?
in
I
Malta?
mean, you know what? I do respond really well to like fatigue stuff, so maybe I should just do a lot of rep work before and do back downs, and maybe I'll like do something stupid on the platform. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Steven has to say about that.
Oh no, I think he thinks
So
I'm weird a little bit, but it's okay.
right, I'm sure he doesn't. But all right, so you after Raw Nets, you made the switch from USAPL to Powerlifting America, and what drove that decision to make that switch?
So it was more like just who I was under at the time who was coaching me. Um, he just told me like it would be a bigger platform and more recognition because I know like USAPL, a lot of the lifters don't really get the recognition they deserve. And he was just like, this is kind of like a once in a lifetime opportunity for you. Like this is your last year as a junior, and you know it's going to be harder for you to go to worlds in the open. Which like I mean, a little hurtful, but like I understand it. You know, like I'm nowhere near where Amanda Lawrence is or like the top 84s are right now. Um, so like this is my one chance to go on a bigger stage and just get recognition and just see what happens there. So that was really the driving factor.
And uh, were there less like international like platforms in USAPL?
We don't really have like international platforms at all. Like it's mostly like CNATS was in Arlington, which is in Texas. My first CNATS was in Chicago, and then I think Rawnats was in Tennessee. So it's all in the U.S. and it's just different
Right.
states,
And
really.
if anything, it's just like short domestic flights as well, right?
hmm Yeah. So
Right.
nothing on the scale of a 19-hour flight I'm about to have to make to Malta. So yeah, but
How many layovers will that be?
I have two layovers. I think I have one in Chicago and one in Frankfurt.
Right. And how early are you flying in?
That's my cat.
Oh, sorry. How early will you be flying in?
So I'm gonna fly in on the 2nd, and I compete the 7th.
Okay,
So yeah, I gave myself plenty
plenty
of
of time.
time to like try to
Yeah,
adjust to the time difference and just get to
get your
explore the
food.
city while I'm there.
Yeah,
Yeah, get food. Yeah.
yeah, keys. So after moving to from USAPL to Powerlifting America, you did your nationals there after the game day qualifier, and I would say you won pretty easily due to some external circumstances out of your way. But let's delve into that circumstance in a bit. So, tell me more about your competition for nationals this year.
For junior nationals.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so I got injured in December leading up to junior nationals, right? Like I had already signed up for junior nationals and the Shamrock game day meet, the qualifier, right? And I hurt my back so bad I couldn't walk. Like I was literally like rolling out of bed, and it was bad. I literally thought I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to quit powerlifting. Like I can't move. And I think like a month or so out from the game day meet, the qualifying meet, I like for some reason like my back was still hurting me, but I was able to squat again, and I was like, okay, maybe we're getting somewhere. Like this isn't horrible. And I know I've still been dealing with like the back problems from then, but I can't remember. I went to a couple different PTs and they gave me a bunch of exercises and stretches just to do to help me out. And it helped alleviate a lot of the pain. But I know the first time I got under like a heavy squat, like my whole back, it literally felt like someone like grabbed the bottom of my spine and like popped it. It was so uncomfortable. And I like, you could see in one of my squat videos, I'm like coming out of the hole and it just pops and I feel it. And like, I stand up weird and I was like, oh, that didn't feel right. Like, but after that, I was like perfectly fine. I would just have to take like really long breaks after squatting where I'd go like sit against the wall and just try to like not spaz out because my back was not having fun. And so this is like a month or two out from junior nats, if I'm not mistaken. And I fully thought like if this flares up again, like I'm done. Like I cannot compete at junior nats. So what was the point of switching to PA if I can't compete at junior nats and I can't compete at junior worlds, right? And I'll say like the PT, my coach at the time, they all really helped me through that, and they got me like I definitely wasn't at my full potential at that meet, which kind of sucks because I feel like the last 3 years I just haven't been able to show off like the full potential that I know I have, just dealing with injuries. So that meet, I was not in a good headspace like going in just because my back got injured, and then 2 weeks out from the meet I hurt my collarbone. I was deadlifting and like something popped in it, and it literally, the only way I know how to describe it is the feeling of like your muscle is pulling off the bone. Like that's what it felt like. Like I was holding a deadlift and I just started crying, and I don't cry. Like I'm not someone who's very emotional or like shows pain like if I'm hurt. And I was like, oh God, this is not good. And this is 2 weeks out. And I remember calling my friend Evan and I was like, hey, like, I don't think I can pull. I don't think I can do this. And he was like, you can do it. You're fine. He's like, it's 2 weeks out. You have 2 weeks. And I was like, no, I cannot do it. Like, I can't do this. And I remember like trying to get through back downs, and I was like crying through all of my back downs. And I was like, I have to do this. Like, I have to do it. Like, I can worry about being injured after junior nationals. And I remember telling Evan, I was like, I can't, like, if it comes down to me pulling for the win, I can't do it. Like, I have to lock it up by, like, my opener, my second attempt, because I don't want to depend on that third pull, because my shoulder, it hurt so bad. Like, it literally, my back pain was bad, but that was, like, a whole other pain to me. So week of the meet, I was still dealing with a lot of pain, and we thought, like, oh, easing up on the deadlift weights, like, that would help a little bit. And I'd say it did, but after like going into the meet and squatting, and I hit a PR on the platform. Finally, it took me forever to hit a 500 squat on the platform. It took me like it took me a while, so I was really happy with that. My my back was already kind of shot from squatting. And so going into the deadlift, I was like, oh no, this is not good. So like, I'm in the back taking ibuprofen, taking Advil, like doing whatever I can to help stop the pain. And we got through my first two deadlifts, and I was like, okay, I can do this. Like it's all right. This is probably the best my deadlift has ever moved. Like I'm definitely not a deadlifter, like for sure, in comparison to like my squat and my bench. And so I was like, okay, we got this. Like, all right, that's fine. Get to my last pull, and I can't lock it out because like I tried locking out, I got stuck on my thighs, right? And if I feel like if I would have like actually tried, like my collarbone would have been done for. So I just got stuck right there, and everyone was like, "What happened?" I was like, "Can't hold on to it. I just can't do it." And so I like dropped it, and so I just like dropped it down because I was like, I got stuck, and I was like, "Okay, you can try to grind this out," but then I was like, "It's not even worth it. Like you already have, it's yours. Like you won. You got another national title. It is what it is, right?" I was still really mad because I was like, there goes another 9 for 9 day. Now I'm going 8 for 9 again for like the last 4 meets. So I was so mad at myself. And then I was like, okay, you just walked away with like 3 national records and a spot on the world's team. Like, why are you so mad at yourself? And so that's like, it's so annoying to me that I can never like take the little wins. Like those are such good accomplishments that most people like don't ever get to do. And I'm just like, nope, wasn't good enough. I need better.
You want more. Like I
yeah.
guess it's just finding the little things that you wish you had as well. Like just like everyone else.
But it's also like I still feel if I would have held on to that last deadlift, I definitely would have done like I could have done better. Like it's just like okay.
You could have ripped that muscle off as well.
Yeah, I could have could have not been going to Worlds right now because like could have been injured, but so
then you'd be beating yourself up.
Yeah, I would be so mad at myself right now. Yeah. But yeah, so that was the whole nationals little in itself, but it was fun. I had fun with that meet. I met a lot of cool people there. Most of them that just friends of friends, and like getting to meet them was pretty cool. And now we're like going to Worlds together, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Anyone you're looking forward to go to Worlds with in particular? Like your friends?
I think it'd just be seeing some of the people I met at nationals. I know Natalie Hunter. She's so cool. She's like a 63. I met her. She was really nice. I met her when we were getting drug tested, actually. So I'm, because they were like, "What's her name?" And like, obviously, I know her name because she was cool. And so I was like, "Oh, that's Natalie Hunter." And then like we started talking and we followed each other on Instagram. I haven't really talked to her since, but she seems really cool and I'd love to be friends with her. I guess like I stay in an Airbnb with some people and one of them is going to, or 2 of them are actually going to Worlds. And so I think seeing them compete, it's going to be really cool. One of them's a 74 and the other one's a 93. So I'm excited to see how they do as well.
Are they in the junior or sub-junior team?
They're juniors as well.
Juniors. I remember the 74 was pretty high up in that list, right?
Yeah, they're he's ranked number 2. And well, actually, both of the people that I'm excited to see, they're both ranked number 2. So I'm excited to see how that all plays out and just see, like, because I'm pretty sure they'll do really well. So that's going to be exciting.
Yeah. And in terms of competition, how was nationals like? Because there was a special someone there that you were looking forward to duke it out, right?
So it was interesting. My direct competitor, I guess I should put it, was talking a lot on social media going into the meet. And I was it was upsetting at some points because, you're like, why are you talking? Like, I don't even know you. And you're just coming at me for every little thing, being like, oh, you hide your deadlift because you're scared. I hide my deadlift because my deadlift isn't good compared to my other lifts. Like, that's all there is to it. Like, I don't even really hide it. I just don't post it. I don't really post in general. There's just a lot of talking on, like, their end. And I just was, like, waiting because I was like, all right, let's go to nationals and let's see, right? And she ended up bombing out, right? And so it was like, once she bombed out, it's like, oh, weight lifted off our shoulders. And that's just that. Like, that's why I don't really like talking or like talking crap over social media because I just always feel like something backfires, and it's like now I'm
Yeah.
embarrassed. Like I'm embarrassed of myself if I
Did you
talk
feel
about
embarrassed for
someone
her?
slightly because I was like I wanted to be really mean after the fact um, because I was like, dude, you talked all that mess and like you didn't even give me a fight. Like you bombed out. I wanted a fight. Like, I wanted a real like I like having battles, I will say. Like I think that gives me something to like, oh, I'm not gonna let you beat me. Like it's just not gonna happen. Even though I got beat once, but that's okay. That's
Which
that's fine.
was Ronet's last year.
Yeah, Ron has 23.
Right.
And Margaret, she's stupid strong, has a really good deadlift. So, all congrats to her on that one. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it was interesting because nobody's ever really talked crap to me when it comes or talked over social media um, when it comes to competing. And so I was like, what, how do I react to this, And and I was so bad. I wanted to so bad say something like and be petty back, but all my friends were like, no, like let it go, let it go.
Just show her on the day.
Yeah, show her. And then, things just worked out in my favor. And so, yeah.
And has it still been tense since, or like has things died down?
Oh, she actually reached out to me after nationals, and basically, I'd love to compete against her again. She said she'd see me again on the platform, and I'll take her up on that. I'd love to battle it out with her and actually see what she can do when she doesn't bum out. So
In the open stage, I assume.
I believe we'll both be in the open at this, yeah, because we're both
Yeah.
23. So, or I mean, she might be slightly younger than me, but I think she ages out. So yeah, I'd
Okay.
love to see her in the open.
And okay, so moving on, you are now 3 weeks out. How's training been, and are you nervous about Worlds?
So training's been going okay. Bench, taking a hit just because of bench depth and dealing with my collarbone injury. Um, Squat is going insanely good for some reason. I mean, I have 3 squat days. I was previously squatting 2, and I also switched to heels, which I was like, I don't know if heels are gonna work for me, but I wanted to try them out because I was like, I feel like I just for some reason feel like this is gonna work. So the 3 squat days have like been really beneficial for me. I feel very strong on my primary day, and having like a fatigue single on that secondary day. So I have an ascending set into like a fatigue single. I love that. It's so fun, and we figured out. Me and Steven actually have found out that I respond really well to fatigue stuff, and he was like, "It's just weird. I don't really understand why like you respond well to it. Like, I don't understand either. I thought he would know, but I think it's just because I'm a little more warmed up and it just makes everything smoother. So this last week with bench, I didn't really hit any big numbers per se, like no PRs, um, but definitely still in the mid 200s up there. Took a double with 120 fatigued, so that was really good. Um, yeah, I think at this point, I'm either just trying to match my PR going into Worlds on bench and just having my squat and deadlift really take control
Go up.
because, I
Yeah.
mean, I think my squat, we're in a really good place to do like maybe 507, 512. I did just take 507 last Saturday and it moved a lot better than expected considering my last warm up was so bad. I was like, I should not have loaded 507, but I'm so hard headed that I was going to squat. I was going to squat it. I don't care. I was going to do it. I wanted to take 512, I'm going to be honest. But I was like, you know what? I'll take 230 instead.
All
So
right.
that was great.
Okay, so 507, it's 230 kilos, right? Just to be.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So I took 230. That moved surprisingly better than like anything else I've taken in the 500s. Um, so that's really exciting. I'm glad it took me like what 6 weeks to hit a PR with Steven on squat, and so I was like really excited. I was like, oh my god, my squat is finally PRing. Like this is great. And deadlift. We switched my days around. When I switched to him, we kind of like changed the structure. So my heaviest deadlift and my heaviest benches are all before my heaviest squat, right? And previously it's been like my squat and then my deadlift and my bench. So I never really get to see the full potential of my deadlift, right? Because my
Just
squat
because
is,
there is fatigue
yeah,
carrying
my
over to that
squat
deadlift session.
just takes over so much and it just kills me. Like it kills my back. And so this time around I was able to touch numbers like I've never been able to touch in prep. Like what I take in prep, I is not the same number I hit on the platform. Like I know going into Raw Nationals, the most I took on in prep was 200 kilos, and I took 209, and everyone was like, "Your lifts don't make sense." And I was like, "You're telling me? I know they don't make sense." But so yeah, we took something pretty big. Well, yeah, we took 200 and it flew. We went up, and that moved pretty decently well. Um, and then I dropped it at lockout because yeah, I'm not the best at holding deadlifts at lockout apparently. So, but that was a really good indicator because it moved really fast, and so we're like, okay, we're gonna get some liquid chalk and see if that helps. Because I mean, lifting in Texas with no AC, the humidity is so bad out here. I'm like, I'm surprised I don't drop everything because it's insane, like how hot and humid it is out here. Which not an excuse. I should still hold on to my deadlifts. Um, but yeah, so I think I'm excited to see my deadlift more than anything, which is crazy for me because I hate deadlift. Like I hate it. So I'm excited to
And
see what's gonna
I
happen.
guess in Malta, you don't really need to worry about humidity because it's a bit less humid in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll hold on to my deadlifts this time around and
Yeah. I actually like missed my grip in last year at Worlds, like prepping for it. But then like on the stage it was fine. So you should
Okay,
be
so
fine.
maybe that's a good
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah. And
Hopefully.
speaking of like hot and humid training environments in Texas, how is training out game day been?
Well, the people there are amazing. I love all the people, so from that aspect, it's great, right? Um, but so I work outside. I work in construction, and so like I'm working 10, 12 hour shifts a day, and about 90% of the time I'm outside. So I already come into the gym and I'm like dead tired and like exhausted from being out in the heat and sweating all day. And then you have a gym that has no AC, right? And so it's really
Yeah.
rough. And like it really I think it really tests like your mental because some days I go in and I'm like, I can't do this. Like I'm exhausted. Um, but I have a good group of people that I lift with and they really help push me because they're all really strong. And most of them are in USAPL and they're strong in their respective weight classes. And it's nice to work out with strong people because they just make you better. So
Yeah. Like you just surround yourself with better people and just you instantly become better.
yeah, I know
Yeah.
we all complain about the humidity and the heat out here, though. We're like, they try to go to different gyms with AC, but I'm like, you know what? If I can hold a deadlift in this temperature and this humidity, I should be able to do it at Worlds. But yeah,
You'll be
that's
fine.
yeah,
And I guess now we have about 3 weeks out for you. What are
yes.
you looking forward to the most at was?
So honestly, I have a trip planned to Italy, like in the middle of
After
my
was?
Malta trip. No, so I'm gonna go to Italy
Wait.
for. So I'm landing like 6 days ahead or whatever, 6 days before I compete. And on Wednesday, the Wednesday before I compete, I'm going to Rome to go to the Vatican and like the Sistine Chapel, and then like I'm just gonna be there for the day and then come back. So I'm
So it's
I'm
just a day
really
trip.
excited. Yeah, it's just a day trip. I just wanted
Okay,
to,
then that's
yeah,
fine. Yeah. It's
yeah.
not
And
like you're going there and like coming back one day out.
no. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna go for the day. I booked an early flight and like a late flight, so I can spend the whole day there and just go get to see everything that's there. And then I tried to plan it. Hopefully, I don't work out on Wednesday because like I don't work out on Wednesday right now. And so, Steven, don't make me work out on Wednesday so I can go to Italy for the day. But yeah, I'm really excited about that because my family has gone to Italy and they really loved it. So I'm ready to go and see it for myself. But
It's great. And coming into Worlds, you're nominated quite far ahead uh, in first. Like there's a sizable gap between you and second. And how do you feel? now that eyes will be on you? And do you feel the pressure or like the need to perform and execute, like that added pressure compared to like just your usual self?
I don't feel like this is any different from any other competition. Like I think the only difference really is I'm in another country and it's also a bigger stage. And I don't think I get like shy away from the bigger stage. Like it is what it is. You're gonna see all the work that I've put in. Um, I wouldn't say I'm nervous for anything. Like I just have to go and do what I know how to do, and I know how to lift. So there should be
Yeah.
no problems there. I mean, I know I might be a little nervous with the time difference and being like, oh, what if that screws up like weight issues or anything like that? But I think with me going so early, that we'll be fine with everything. So,
Yeah.
and I'm just really excited to see like all the people there because I know there's some really strong people, and I like seeing people who are strong. So,
Yeah. Like all the youngest and strongest people will be gathered there. So
yeah,
there's a lot to look
that'll
forward
be
to. Yeah.
just seeing like all the people from all over the world. Like that's really cool to me. So,
Yeah. And I guess backing up a bit, earlier you mentioned that when your competitor did bomb out, unfortunately, you did feel that pressure off your chest. Did you feel like you would have done better knowing you had that pressure, or would you feel like you don't need that pressure to do well?
um, so. I feel like that's kind of like if you have that pressure on you, it's like do or die situation, right? Like maybe I wouldn't have dropped that last deadlift on the platform because if it came down to it and we were close and I need that deadlift,
You
I'm not
probably fought
dropping
for it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably would have fought for it a little more. But in the case where I have no one really to worry about, it's like, all right, it's not that big a deal, you know? So go like I don't feel like I have that pressure going into worlds unless like we're fighting for a gold on deadlift, you know? Like I want gold. Like if we can walk away with golds on every lift, I'm gonna take it. Like I really want that for myself. And um, if it comes down to it, I feel like there would be a little bit of pressure there. But I think like as hard as me and Steven have been like working this prep, like it's I think we'll be okay. And there should be no
Yeah.
pressure. Like we're just like he said from the get go, he was like, we're just gonna go in and have fun at this meet. Don't put pressure on yourself. And it's so hard to like say that, right? And like actually go through with it. Like I feel like everyone's always like, oh, you need to like you expect yourself to do well. So there's pressure in that aspect. But I think this is the first meet where I'm just like, okay, go out and have fun. You're in a different country. You're around all these strong people. Just go have fun and do what you know how to
Yeah.
do. Because like, I mean, we do this every day basically. Like we lift every single day. I mean, we practice like we're good at what we do. So I mean, it should be no different than the other day.
And yeah, Steve told you to have fun. And I guess part of the reason why is it's your first comp with him, I believe.
Yes.
And moving forward, sorry, do you have plans for the future? I guess in the opens or like later in the year, or like just working alongside with Steve.
So I'm really looking forward to a long off season with him because I know I'm very beat up. Like I'm tired. I won't lie. Like I moved to a new city, started working full time, and it's just like my body just feels really beat up. And so I'm just trying to get through this prep and just go out and have fun. And then after that, I want a long off season, and I think what I want to do is open nats. I'm not for sure yet. I know me and Steven kind of talked about it on Sunday about what our next plans would be, but it was more me being like, hey, I kind of want to do this, but I kind of don't. And he's like, we'll worry about that after Worlds, you know?
Yeah.
So I think we got to get through Worlds first, and I think everything's going to go well there. So that's good. And then we just have like a little break. Like I think Open Nats is probably in March, so that gives us a really good time to grow in the off season. And I feel
Yeah.
like he has some good ideas to actually like help progress a lot of my lifts, and I'm really looking forward to that because I want to be one of the best 84s at some point. So I'm down for
And you'll
whatever he
be
wants to do. So
yeah,
and
and
he
you'll
believes in
be
me a
duking
lot.
it
So
like for sorry.
I said Steven really believes in me a lot, and it's nice. Like he's like, oh, you can definitely get up there one day and be one of the top 84s, and so I like hearing that from my coach, you know, because if he believes in me, I feel like I can do whatever.
Yeah.
So
It feels like you're being backed up, like with your dreams, like with
yeah,
someone else.
yeah. It's like, okay, you see the
And
potential that I have, right? And it's not just me. Like I'm like,
yeah,
oh, I'm strong, I can do this. But when other people are like, no, you have the potential, it just makes it more real. So
yeah, like people are invested in you,
mhm,
especially your coach.
yeah, so that's really nice.
All right.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. So thank you for hopping on. And before we end the episode, do you have anything else to say to like the viewers?
No, not really. Just ready to go have fun and just see what happens. And hopefully
All
we
right,
take home
then
gold on everything. But yeah,
that's 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 something to look forward to.
it is.
Yeah. So I will see you in Malta, and thank you guys. Thank you for hopping on,
Yeah, no problem.
and I'll see you guys in the next episode.